Is good, guys? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. We are here for a live match preview. We haven't done one of these in a little while. I feel like I used to do these more often, last season, the season before. This season, I've been just kind of keeping it to post-match lives, and pre-match has always been pretty much recorded. But for this one, I had some free time today. I was away the last few days, which is why you haven't seen any videos on the channel, but I'm back today. And yeah, I just wanted to discuss it with you guys, going into tomorrow's game, because it could be Scudetto defining, Serie A, or title race defining for sure. And it's important, it's massive, because we've not beaten these guys, even if there wasn't a Scudetto deciding or title race deciding game. It's a massive game because we haven't beaten these guys in so long. Surely we need to beat these guys this time round. But anyway, thank you for being here on this Saturday evening. Don't forget, the game is tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. UK time kickoff, and it is Milan as the home team. So whether that makes a difference or not, actually, I would like to find out. Someone needs to do like some sort of statistic of what's the actual difference. Does it actually weigh in favor of the home team at the San Siro more often than not? Because I'm actually quite interested, because I feel like, from my experience, I don't really think it actually matters that much. I don't feel like we have a better record when we're at home. It's one of those, obviously, because we're at the same stadium. I would like to see the statistic on that. If someone can maybe pull it up or find out, maybe someone's going to have to do some deep work to go back and find out on it. Don't ask ChatGPT, because usually it's pretty inaccurate on that. It's going to be one of those where you have to do it yourself. But anyway, thank you for being here. 26 people. Appreciate you guys being here. You guys know what to do before we get into it. Or leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Tanbir, how are you doing, my brother? Hope you are doing well. Joe and Brian show. What's up, man? Make sure you guys check out these guys as well. They have their own YouTube show, so check them out. We need to humble these Milanisti, of course. I mean, they should be humble already, but the second. So I don't know where they're getting this air of supremacy from, because -10, it's cold down there. So yeah, let's put them further down, right? -13 would be perfect. Mattia, brate. Need to get you on channel, actually, Mattia, at some point. Hit me up, maybe post-match if you're free or something, like this season. The channel has missed the presence of Mattia Jovic. But yeah, as Mattia says, I don't know if you guys have been seeing over the last few days, their players have done so many interviews. Like I saw Tomori did an interview, Leao did an interview. I think, who was it? Gabi or someone, like it's like 3 or 4 of their players doing interviews, and I haven't seen like any interview of like an Inter player. Or Salamakas, Salami Maker, he did an interview, like, and they're all talking about how how this is massive. And Leao said literally, like Matthias says, it's like a war. Life is a matter of life and death. I think Leao said, like, literally, that was the quote. So yeah, maybe we need to go into this derby the opposite, maybe a bit more chilled out, because maybe we'll be feeling the pressure too much in the last few ones. I don't know. Whatever we've been doing hasn't worked, so they need to do something different this time around. Sight, hope you are doing well. Thank you, Mattia, for reminding the people to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Eduardito, Positivity FC in the house, member for 50 months. He is positive as always. If I was actually speaking about, if I'm like to say my feelings for the actual game, my prediction for the game, someone's asking here. I mean, we'll get it. We'll do it at the end, the match prediction. But I'm not actually feeling that confident for this game. I just feel like this team still hasn't really got over the big game hump, really, has it? I mean, we beat Juve. That in theory should mean Inter got over the big game hump, but that wasn't really a particularly great performance, was it? And we needed that last minute Zielinski banger to win it. And that's the only one, really. I mean, unless you count Roma in that. We haven't really won still, apart from that big game. So I'm not really trusting this team much in big games. And Milan, Allegri, the way they play, that's kind of the weakness, you could say, of this Inter team, especially, a team that in the big games, team that sit back, absorb pressure, then they hit you on the counter-attack with their pace that they have with Leao or Pulisic or whoever they're going to play up front. So I'm not actually feeling too great. But yeah, the vibe, as Marcello says, the vibe is completely different this time round. I mean, we're going into it. I feel like if there's a team with the pressure on, it's Milan. It's Milan, not Inter. It's Milan. I know Inter are, you could say the pressure is of Inter as the team leading the Scudetto race, plus 10 points. They have the pressure to beat Milan, to show the rest of Serie A, show the rest of the world that, they deserve this title, whatever, blah, blah, blah. End the Marotta League talk, whatever you want to chat rubbish about. But in reality, it's Milan. If they want to have a title, if they want to keep the title race alive, it's Milan that has to win. They're the ones that have to win. For Inter, we are sleeping nice if we get a draw in this game. Really nice. 0-0 draw. I'll sign right now. Give me the pen and paper. I'll sign it right now for a 0-0 draw, a ball draw, like the Como game. I'll take it. I'll take it. So if there's any team that actually has the pressure in this game, it's Milan in terms of, and that's if, of course, if they feel like they want to compete for the Scudetto and feel like, they should be. But if it's, as Allegri keeps saying, oh, we're just, in the top four is our aim. If that's their aim, then yeah, then it's like almost like a pointless game at this point. But I think the pressure is more on Milan than Inter. And hopefully that shows tomorrow, because if Milan have a bit more pressure to try and win the game, hopefully that opens them up a bit more, which obviously will be better for Inter if Milan open up a little bit more. Christian Potato, what's up, brother? I don't remember any significant home advantages. I do remember the away 20th Scudetto, and I remember that too. Exactly. The one that we won in their face. Nessuna rivincita. No revenge for that. We won it in your face, in your home, in front of all your fans, and added a star onto our shirt. Can't get us back for that. You can't get us back for that. How much booing will Bastoni receive tomorrow? I mean, that is the ongoing topic. Still, Chivu was asked about this topic. Still, Allegri was asked about this topic. And still, Bastoni is being booed by fans, and he will be for sure tomorrow. And I think pretty much the whole stadium. I mean, they will go all out, the Milanisti. And yeah, I mean, if Bastoni is approaching now his villain era, his heel era, as they like to call it, he might as well embrace it and just go all in and live it. Live it to the best and embrace it and be a shithouse tomorrow as well. If he's going on a tackle against Salamanca tomorrow, leave a little bit in. The boos will be louder, but just embrace it now. That's his. That's how he's going to be received this season. You saw against Lecce. That was already surprising to me. Lecce away. What's the beef there? Como. What's the beef there? It's just, it's become a thing now with social media. Everyone likes to pile on. Everyone jumps on the bandwagon. It's like, how it is these days. This is how it's going to be all season for Bastoni now. So I think he should just embrace it. And I would love it if he scores tomorrow. I would love it. I mean, imagine Bastoni scoring tomorrow and doing this as well, like a Icardi celebration, like going on the Curva Sud in front of the Milanisti and doing this. Oh, that would be fantastic. Oh, he does it's the celebration that he did on Kalulu, the two-handed, like, replicating that image. That would be, chef kiss. If the football script writers take that one, we need that. We need that expeditiously. Need that in my veins. Eduardo says we have a comfortable lead on Milan, who are only 1 point ahead of Napoli, so the pressure is on them. Yeah, that's true. I mean, the top four, the thing is, the top four spots, that's the really, between second, third, fourth teams, I don't think really lose too much sleep over individual placements. But I'm sure, Allegri, the team, they would want to finish above Napoli now. But yeah, they need to watch their back more than they need to watch their front at the moment. So they have the pressure there on that side too. So hopefully, as I said, they do feel a little bit of pressure of that and makes them come out a little bit more. Matthias says we need to learn the mistakes from past derbies and give them the ball, let them do something for a change. So yeah, Chivu was kind of asked about this. And he said, it depends on the moments of the game. The team needs to know when to do it. The thing is, we haven't seen this Inter team under Chivu do this at all. But we saw it in the last game against Como. Chivu and the team clearly went out to Como to play for a draw, clearly to make that game as ugly as possible. Like that was one of the worst, if not one of the worst games I watched in recent memory. Inter game, which is really hard for Inter as a team because we're just such an attacking team that in Serie A we create chances like, you know, even on our bad days we create like, you know, at least 1 xg, but 0.12 xg I think we had by the end of the game, or 0.6, maybe even 0.06, or I remember, but it's something really low. But that shows that this team can sit back, and Chivu also can give that instruction to, you know, pull the handbrake a little bit or play in barely first gear. That was against Como. So in theory, we know, you guys know me, I do enjoy the Allegri type football or terrorism football, whatever you want to call it. I feel like, especially in Serie A, it still pays off. Even on European big nights, it still pays off. In certain moments, it still does pay off. And against teams like Milan, who are going to play like that, there isn't like you're just giving into their game plan. You're accepting their game plan to be susceptible to the counterattack or transition. So yeah, I agree with Mattia. But will we see that? Will Chivu and the team, you know, try to sit back, maybe let Milan have the ball? I don't think so. It seems like Chivu, and we've seen in pretty much all the big games. I think maybe the only big game we didn't try to do that was Liverpool against Arsenal. They didn't let us do that. But against Liverpool, it also seemed like we kind of pulled the handbrake a little bit. We gave them a lot of respect, even though they were going through a tough time that time. But apart from that, all the other big games, we've always seemed to try to take the game to the opponent. Atletico, all the Serie A games as well. So I agree with you, Mattia, but I think Chivu and the team will still try to play their game. Like Chivu said, when we don't let the other team dictate the way we play, we're going to play our game. Marvel Lawson, what's up, brother? Bonsoir. I don't feel any pressure, he says. I hope we don't lose, though. Yeah, 100%. That's why I said, to me, you give me a 0-0 draw, I'll sign that paper right now, as negative as it may sound, and, you know, conservative and all that, whatever you want to say. That just, you know, still kills the title race, a 0-0 draw, because it keeps it +10 and one less game to play, 10 games left to play, 10-point gap. That's yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. Bigotelli, hope you're doing well, brother. You're absolutely right. We just need calmness throughout the squad and fan base. Yeah, I do. Yeah, so I'm enjoying kind of this approach to the derby this season. It's been very low key. Like I've not really seen too much content out of Inter as well, like the Inter Media House. I saw like they did a video, but it's been very like a low key. It hasn't felt like a derby week. I don't know, maybe because I've been busy with some family stuff recently this week. That's why I was away. But maybe I've not followed it. But it just felt like a very low key build up to the derby. It doesn't feel like loads of hype and loads of pressure, especially on the Inter side. As I said, I saw a lot of interviews from the Milanisti side, which I was a little bit confused about. Abdi Razak Sabri, what's up, brother? Welcome back. I think you've been a channel member before, so thank you once again for becoming a channel member. If it's your first time, welcome. And check out my member-only videos that I do. Actually need to update that catalog of member-only videos. But yeah, thank you. And if you come through the live chats, the live streams, usually, especially the post-game matches where there's, 100, 200 plus people, I try to prioritize the member comments first. That's mainly the benefits I try to give to the members. And the match previews, usually I launch them, or I release them first for members and then to everyone else. We do underrate the Roma game. I do, especially now, like I've been saying all season, especially if Roma finish top 4, I feel like we should give Roma as a big game this season. But then we also need to give Como the credit as well. Like I've been saying, Como have replaced Fiorentina now as like a big-ish game for sure now. Just because we've been smashing them doesn't mean that they're not a big game now. As you saw how Juve struggle against them. All the other teams have been struggling against them. Milan drew against Como as well a few weeks back. Hey, under my alter ego, let's bury this season. That was down under. Oh yeah, Anthony, bro, you need to get back to me for the two up top, brother. We need to speak about the two up top. As in what two up top? Which two up top Inter will play tomorrow? But yeah, get back to me, bro. We need to definitely do at least a couple more two up top episodes before the end of the season, because I know both of our channel fan bases enjoy that link up. Hello guys, Forza Inter 2-2 draw, no loss. Abdi Razak. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are feeling like a draw. Everyone's feeling like a draw vibe. I can see it. I can see it. What's up, Jagannath? Hope you are doing well. What's up, Ahmed? I love you too, man. What do you think? What will happen if AC Milan win? Well, if AC Milan wins, Ahmed, the title race is back on. They got -7, 10 games left to play. Still a big gap, but then the title race is temporarily back on. That's what happens. But I still don't think it makes that much of a difference. Like, I know one thing with this Inter team, if we were only 1 or 2 points or 3 points above Milan, I think a lot of you will agree with me, even though we love a lot of these guys, Barella, Bastoni, Lautaro, like, this core of guys, but we've seen them, like, we don't win a title race when it's close, do we? Seconda Stella season, we ran away with it. Conte, Scudetto, after we got out of Champions League, then we ran away with it. This season, as you know, we're kind of running away with it. When it's been close, last season, the Milan Scudetto season, and we have other commitments. But yeah, the Milan Scudetto season, we didn't have other commitments. We were out from beaten by Liverpool, remember, in the first knockout round. So yeah, if it was closer than that, if it were just even maybe 4 points, I would say, because then they, if they win tomorrow, they would go back to -1. But within touching distance, I wouldn't trust this team. Then I would be saying, like, wow, this game is massive. The pressure is on Inter. I don't trust these guys to be able to get this over the line. But now, with this kind of gap that we have at the moment, at least we know that these guys, when there's a little bit less pressure, that's when these guys can actually perform better than we know them for. Yeah, definitely El Cato. Bastoni will be booed till the end of the season. If we need to sub Chivu in for Basto, yeah, he'll be ready to. I've talked about this before in the past, by the way. If Chivu was playing in modern football, he would be a Bastoni profile. That was Chivu's profile back in the day. He was super comfortable on the ball, left foot. Like, he used to take free kicks and set pieces. He even scored a few free kicks in his time. Ajax, Roma, Inter. At Inter, he became more of a left back. I didn't really rate him that much at Inter, especially as a centre back. But he was good as a left back and reliable, of course, part of the triplete team. But in modern football, he definitely would be a braccetto, the Bastoni position, the left centre back for sure. That would be his role, like drifting into midfield or overlapping, underlapping. That would be, he would be perfect in modern football, actually. For sure. Thank you, Mattia, for reminding the people to leave a thumbs up. Fight fire with fire against Allegri. Yeah, that would be the way. Any updates on injury yet? We'll get into it in a moment. I'll start going through the predicted lineups and the injury news and all that. Milan fans in the house as well. Josh, hope you're doing well. Shams, we all know Allegri will not change his game plan, especially for this one. He hasn't done it to our detriment versus the so-called smaller clubs. So don't expect anything different tomorrow. Yeah. No, just as I said, for Chivu, that probably he's not going to do it. He's going to go all out, pressing Milan high probably, and try to dominate possession, dominate territorially. And Allegri will probably do the same, happy to absorb pressure, happy to hit us on the counter, and then try to sneak a goal like the Pulisic one in the first game this season. So I agree. With Allegri, you can expect even less. With Chivu, he's still quite young. He's still going through a development phase, understanding what he really wants, what type of coach he wants to be. With Allegri, he knows exactly what coach he wants to be. He knows exactly how he wants to play games. He knows exactly how to win games as well. And he's not going to change at this stage of his career. So yeah, 100%. We cannot go 0 for 7. Yeah, that is what I wanted to pull up before we get into the predicted lineups. Our record against them at the moment is atrocious. No wins in the last 6, which is embarrassing. We're literally doing what we did to them. We're actually, with them, it was worse because we beat them 6 times in a row. We just haven't beaten them in 6 occasions now. But yeah, last time round they beat us 1-0. Pulisic sneaking in after the Zoma little mistake. Coppa Italia, they beat us 3-0 last season. And then in the Coppa Italia first leg, we drew 1-1. Another draw 1-1 in February of last season. The shitty Conceição Milan, by the way. And then in the Super Cup, the shitty Conceição Milan, we gave them the Super Coppa. And then at the start of that season, that was still under Fonseca, shitty Fonseca Milan. We got beaten 2-1. And then obviously this is the Seconda Stella season where we beat them 5-1 and 2-1. So we haven't beaten them since September 2024, which is, yeah, I'm not going to say borderline embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is poor. This, especially last season's Milan. Like, how were we getting thrashed by last season's Milan? That is just really, really bad. And thank you very much, Abdi Razak, man. He's just gifted 10 Uncle Shama into videos memberships. I actually need to remove the into videos only because I'm trying to kind of be also, you guys know, I always try to be, I want to make more serial content as well. I don't want to be known to be only the inter guy, but anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But thank you, Abdi Razak, for that, and welcome to the 10 new people that have been gifted the membership. We need a Biani to save us somewhere. Wow, what a banter era throwback that is. Matias also voted for a draw. Oh yeah, let me see how is the voting going. Let me end the poll now and see how we are looking in terms of the poll. So 75%. Wow. Okay. So you guys commenting are saying draw, but actually the people voting in the poll are saying yes. Interesting. 75% yes, Inter will finally beat Milan tomorrow. Exactly 69 votes. 15% saying a draw and 10% saying no. Well, actually, I should have rephrased that, the no, as we're gonna lose. So I'm just gonna assume the people that say no mean that we're gonna lose. No, yeah, because I should have put lose rather than no. But yeah, so actually people are actually feeling a bit more confident than I initially thought. That's quite good. It's nice. And yeah, of course, the double would be fantastic as well. I mean, Chivu winning a double in his first season, guys. That is unheard of. Nick Smock says, we have too many players missing. Unfortunately, 10 points isn't a big gap, especially if we lose. I can see us choking the title if we lose to Milan. But at the same time, like Nick Smock, I know you are definitely, I'm not going to say you're the leader of Negativity FC, but you're definitely one of the, if not vice president, one of the high-ranked officers of Negativity FC. One thing you have to give into credit for this season is we dispatch the teams that we're supposed to be dispatching, all the teams outside of the top 4, top 5, top 6, however you want to look at it. So that's true. We do know these guys are kind of chokers. Definitely, as I said, I wouldn't trust these guys if it was close. But in terms of what we have remaining, I know we have a tough-ish schedule after Milan as well. It's not particularly just small teams. But we've played Juve, we would have played Milan now. We still have to play Roma, but Atalanta will be in the midst of Champions League tie against the Bayern Munich. So, and we usually have Atalanta's number anyway. This Fiorentina is not the Fiorentina of last few years. Como, that's definitely a tough one. We know that away. But then afterwards we have Cagliari. I'm going to ignore the Coppa Italia game. Torino, Parma, Lazio, Verona, and Bologna. So, yeah, I can understand also people being still not convinced with these guys, but I still wouldn't lose sleep if Milan beat us tomorrow. That's how I see it at the moment. Inter finally getting over Milan would be the ideal situation, obviously, for Inter, but even a draw would set Inter up nicely. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'm late. What do you think about starting Pio and Boni up front? Yeah, let me talk about it in a minute as we go through the lineups. With all that talking about Leao Pavlovic before the match, I think Inter players will be super concentrated to get the 3 points. Reminds me of Calabria, and they were talking. Yeah, that's why I kind of like it that they're doing all the talking at the moment. This game was the game I expected Thuram to turn up, and of course he is sick. Yeah, we'll get into that in a moment. We are out of UCL. This time is different. Yeah, this time we also have the rest as well. Good point, Eduardo. In between the Coppa Italia now, we are going to finally have full week rest. So we play tomorrow, and then Atalanta going to have to play Champions League. Then they play us, whereas we going to have full 6 days rest. Then we have full 8 days rest, 6 days rest, 8 days rest, 7 days. Then there's a midweek against Como. So this is, in terms of energy management, we've seen the team as well recently. They're starting to look a little bit jaded and a little bit tired, I think, on the legs. So this period of 1 game a week is going to help a lot as well. And some coaching time for Chivu as well, finally. That's one thing people rarely talk about. Coaches these days, guys, the coaching time is actually minimal. It's pretty much all it is you play a game, recovery, maybe 1 day of coaching, a couple hours of coaching the day before the game, and that's it. In terms of actual coaching, it all happens in pre-season, really. In the season, it's very hard for the teams to actually be coached and, work on things, work on different formations. Like Chivu mentioned, he wants to work more on the 3-4-2-1. That takes time, and finally he's going to get some time now. Do you remember Spalletti blaming Inzaghi because he wants Scudetto too fast and Inter block an international team? No, oh yeah, oh my days, yeah. Spalletti's Italy reign was just a disaster, and that was one of the many disasters. But yeah, let's get into the predicted lineups for tomorrow, guys. Let's go ahead with that because we have some big things to talk about. We've been talking for 27 minutes. And let's talk about the big news, which is Marcus Thuram is, we don't know whether he's out fully. I was going to say Mattia. Christian Chivu today said that he had a fever. He didn't train with the team, but he's hoping that he will be there tomorrow. But definitely, he's not starting. But is it the end of the world, guys? Let me ask you this. Are you sad that Marcus Thuram is not able to start tomorrow? Because we know since... When did he get injured? Was it October, November? Since this guy got injured, he had a good start to the season. I think we do forget, once you, especially like that August, September period, it just kind of goes past. You just forget what happened in those periods. But Marcus Thuram had a very good start to the season. Then he got injured. And the Thuram that we've seen since then, I think, is probably the closest we've seen to the worst Thuram possible at Inter. I think last season as well, his last few months of last season were pretty... Yeah, he looked like he was physically just tired and just couldn't handle it. But this season, because he's he's not had a long season, he's not been overplayed or anything like he was last season. He's been looking way off form. So I'm not actually too sad about the fact that he's missing out. The thing is, what it's not good is because Boni is not supposed to be fully fit because he had a bit of I think it was a calf fatigue that he felt after the last Serie A game against Genoa. So already we're missing Lautaro. Boni is going to have to start, and he's not 100% fit. So that's the thing. It's like we've got 2 guys, or you could say 1.5 or 1.75 guys, really, if Boni is not fully fit. And then the guy that's supposed to come off the bench, Thuram, if he's had a fever and he hasn't been able to train yesterday, he's not going to be also 100%. So that's the worry. But I like the storyline of this starting duo. I mean, this is, if this was the changing of guards, or at least showing the future of Inter, this is it. This is the game with Boni and Esposito, the 2 young guns, the 2 young studs up front, showing the new oak tree way, the new Chivu way, the new way forward for Inter. And also, that there is life after Marcus Thuram if we sell him this summer. This is the game for both of them to prove it. I think we've talked about it. Boni has deserved more playing time the last few months. I've been kind of a little bit surprised on how Chivu's kind of managed Boni's minutes over the last few months. Clearly, he's backing his boy Thuram, but it's not really worked out, to be honest. So I hope tomorrow Boni shows that, yeah, there is life after Marcus Thuram. As Nick Sock says, Taras has not been good. I just want Lauti back. Yeah, Lautaro has been missed. Lautaro has been missed. But at the same time, when's the last time Lautaro played well against Milan? I know in January he has a good record against Milan. People are going to start putting in the comments, oh no, in 2023, in 2024 he did this. But I'm talking about over the last 2 seasons against Milan. I think he had goal in the Supercoppa, and that's it in the last 2 seasons against Milan. And I'm also talking about, like, in terms of performances, not really great performances as well. So, and we know now we have the sample size of all season that, Inter have been good in big games. Lautaro hasn't been good in, like, pretty much any big game. So yeah, but again, I definitely miss him, and I would start him tomorrow if he was fit, and we need him for his leadership. And apparently he's going to be even on the bench tomorrow, even though he's not even fit to be just to be a substitute, to even like warm up on the sides. He's going to be there with the team, which shows his leadership and how important he is to the team on and off the pitch. Thuram is terrible in form, but yeah, when we talk about AC Milan record, not maybe last season again. We were all crap. All the players were crap last season against Milan, but he was really the one in the Seconda Stella season. He was the one really shining against Milan. He had some really great games and iconic. Oh, those 2 goals they scored against Milan. The first one in his first derby. How good was that? And then obviously the one that clinched it, the one where he scored near post against Magnon, the meme, and then celebrated with like cojones in front of the Milanisti. That was iconic. Alexander McDonald, what's up, brother? Milan gonna go all out for the win. That's what we hope. That's what we hope. As I was speaking in the beginning of the stream, that I hope they try to, because the pressure should be really on them in theory. And I'm not saying that just to be the underdog and try to give the pressure to them. If they want to keep the start of the race alive, it should be on them to try to go all out for victory. But I don't think Allegri is ever going to do that. What's up, Iman? I think in his current form, Thuram would appreciate another day's rest and let Boni and Pio show us what he's got. Yeah, true. But again, we do need someone to come off as a substitute as well. We saw if we don't have anyone as a substitute up front, we're going to have to go with, Juve as the behind the striker, or Frattesi, the 3-4-2-1. Like, I don't think both Boni and Pio has got full 95 minutes in the legs to press and stay in the whole game, especially Boni if he's coming off a slight injury. So we're going to need some changes in the second half, and that 3-4-2-1 as you saw against Como. I'm not criticizing the formation. It's just with the players that we have right now, we can't really play it. Like, if we had a Zalewski in there, maybe, or even a Valentin Carboni, or a Seba Esposito. Like, we don't even have those kind of second strikers in the squad. They're all midfielders who can maybe do a job there. With Thuram out, it means that we only have 2 strikers, so any change will mean a change of formation as well. Exactly. Dr. Averos is not sad about Thuram missing. He's hoping he's not introduced as a sub either, or rather see a Primavera striker if needed. I mean, yeah, I think there you're going a bit too far, because if we didn't see any like, the Como game was the game that we needed to see. As I said, it should have been either Idrisu, but I think the Primavera was playing, or the under 23 was playing literally the same time as Inter were playing Como. But it should have been that game, either Idrisu or Lavelli, and we didn't even see him come on. So Chivu was not going to play him against Milan. But that is your opinion, so I understand that you would rather see. That's how badly you think of Thuram at the moment. I think people do go too far on that. Yeah, definitely. We don't like how thin we are in attack. I agree. Hot ratatouille. I've been begging for a Pio Boni up front. Same, Musin. Same. I wanted to see this in the big game. I agree. Play with 1 striker and be more defensive. Problem solved. Lol. Yeah, especially, I mean, if we go 1-0 up, then yeah, it makes sense to bring off Boni and then keep Pio up front and then go 3-5-1-1, or pack the midfield or something like that, or 3-4-2-1. But yeah, again, it probably is like a 3-6-1 really if you do 3-4-2-1 at the moment, because all you can bring on is a Sucic, a Diouf, or a Frattesi up there. That's really all you can do. Or you move Luis Enrique as one of those guys up front. But yeah, that's up front. In the midfield, let's talk about the midfield, guys. Who do you see in there, guys? Who do you see in there? Everybody's favorite Armenian geriatric, Henrik Mkhitaryan. Look like he will be starting. And I did predict that if you watch my post-Como reaction. I didn't think Hakan looked ready to be starting. And I'm kind of happy. Whether it should be Mkhitaryan or not, that's a different question. But I'm happy that Chivu's not forcing Hakan to start just because he's back fit, because he didn't look match fit. He didn't look back to match sharpness against Como. Not a great game to judge anyone in that game, to be fair, but still, he looked a little bit off the pace still. So I'm happy to see Zielinski continuing as a regista in there. And then obviously you can bring on Hakan in the second half. Nicolo Barella, of course, I think he's a big talking point as well at the moment. Is he going to finally... He's had 0 good big game performances this year. The last one we remember is Bayern away. Or maybe even just total good performances by Nico Barella. And I mean by Nico Barella level, guys. Don't stop reducing his level to just performances where he was like, a decent level, saying that those are good performances. I'm talking about Nico Barella, good performance level, the level that we know he can reach. I don't think we've seen that at all this season. And especially if he's going to be up against Adrian Rabiot, we know that's probably the worst matchup for Nico Barella. This Nico Barella, the Nico Barella that looks just physically finished and jaded, just a shadow of his former self, coming up against a physical, athletic monster like Rabiot, who's been having a great season, probably one of the best midfielders in Serie A this season. And Rabiot, actually, even when he was at Juve, when he wasn't having his best time at Juve, he used to have some good games against Nico. But hopefully, I thought I saw some good signs, but from Barella against Genoa in terms of a little bit, he looked fresher, and he got fully rested against the Como as well. So it looks like Chivu is trying to manage him a bit better now. So hopefully as well, the 1 game a week thing starts to help Barella recover his level. But what are you guys making of Mickey starting tomorrow? I mean, he has had 2 back-to-back good performances. I mean, Lecce wasn't a good performance, but he scored a very important goal. So, but Genoa, I liked his performance against Genoa. Obviously, he had the assist for Di Marco's goal, and I liked his thinking what he played for 60 minutes. I did enjoy his 60 minutes there, and obviously, yeah, he has the experience, as Antonino says, for these types of games. But if you look at the record, Antonino, when Mkhitaryan starts for Inter in these types of games as well, it's not very good. But that's just Inter's big game record anyway. But I know there's a channel friend of the channel, Gab Sikari. He always sends me the stats of like why Mkhitaryan and Acerbi shouldn't start, because the win rate when Acerbi and Mkhitaryan start is really, really low, especially in big games. But I would say there's like I always say, like, I want to see Sucic continuing to be starting. It's not like really Sucic is doing much. Really, he's not had really any standout performances really. So he's not really been pushing. I want Sucic to start, as I said, more for the development. Like, I want him to just be a starter in this team, just so we can go through the growing pains of Sucic this season. Just take the L this season in terms of maybe losing a few silly balls here and there, or losing some duels, and learning his way till next season, getting him ready for Serie A next season. But if you ask me for tomorrow, I actually would still start Sucic. I know, Mkhitaryan has the experience and all of that. But I still would start Sucic, especially if we're going to be dominating the ball, trying to be creating at the edge of Milan's box. We need more technicality, more that little bit of dribbling, that bit of creativity that Sucic adds. Goal threat as well. I know that Sucic hasn't showed too much goal threat, but that guy definitely has 5-6 goal a season midfielder, Mezzala numbers in him for sure. His shooting ability has it. Whereas we know with Mkhitaryan shooting is yeah. And I'm not talking about his career. It's just that over the last few seasons, Mkhitaryan shooting has become a meme for Interisti, quite rightly. Frauderella, Julian's calling Frauderella. Wow, Frauderella needs to earn Barella back. Yeah, no, he needs to come back for sure. Not having Zielinski play more up front is a disadvantage for Inter. I'd rather have Bare play as Regista. Zidane can create more chances to score. Yeah, I agree. I enjoy Zielinski way more as a Mezzala, sorry. And we know Zielinski enjoys playing Mezzala way more. But it seems like Chivu doesn't see Barella there, to be honest. He doesn't really play him there. And the one game that he's played him there against Bodo, again, probably not the best game to judge any of the Inter players in, but in that Bodo game away, Barella was very, very poor. Like he was completely missing in his position in a couple of the goals we conceded. But I agree. If I was coach, I would be leaning more to Barella Regista and having Zielinski, like as I said, with Zielinski and Sucic on the edge of their box with their technicality, short spaces, tight spaces, more creativity, dribbling, shooting ability from the edge as well. Like with this Barella as well, doesn't even shoot anymore. I don't know what's happened to him. Goal threat, I would have that for sure. But, you know, Zielinski as a regista doesn't give me confidence defensively, but he has worked this season. He has worked very, very well. Matthias says Denzel will start. He feels like, yeah, I don't think he's ready yet. And I tweeted about it. It's not going to be the same derby without Denzel versus Theo, guys, right? Denzel versus Theo, man. I need to put it up. That was worth tuning into the derby on its own. Denzel versus Theo. You were like, first 2 minutes of the game, those guys will get into a scuffle, and straight away it would kick off, and you're like, yep, this is the Derby della Madonnina. It started. I missed those two, man. Let me find the video. Here it is. Man, it's not the same without these two, man. It's not going to be the same. I'm going to miss, well, already miss. As much as I hated him, Theo, he did just for that rivalry between him and Denzel. And just for, you know, the quality as well. I like having quality players in the league, and it elevates the level of the derby as well, having quality players on both sides. So I do miss Theo in a weird way. But I don't think he's ready to start. But that would be interesting if Kivu was like, you know, to throw in a little surprise selection there. Julius says, hang the banner. He performed against a relegation side. What happened to Nicolo? Again, if you look at the important statistics beyond goals and assists, Barella has been absolutely crucial this season. Yeah, I know he ranks high for like through balls and passes completed in the final third, but user CQ5s, SG9, CBT40. Like, if you put any inter midfielder in this team and make him play 1,500, 2,000 minutes, he ranks high in a lot of those things. Zielinski this season ranks high for a lot of those things. Even Mkhitaryan, people like, let me put up the data MB of Mkhitaryan, who is the most heavily criticized player at Inter this season. The structure that Inter players play in makes them perform very high on those type of statistics. Like, let me give you an example with Mkhitaryan, 25, 26. Look at that. Look at that. If I give you this graph, key passes, progressive passes, possession one, look at that. Carrying, forward passes, forward pass percentage. If I give you that statistic, this graph blind, and say to you, this is a 22-year-old midfielder from the Bundesliga, or from the Belgian league, you would say Inter should look at him. You would say Inter should sign this guy. But because it's Enric Mkhitaryan, it isn't. Now let's have a look at Barella's. You see, Barella's also very good. But Mkhitaryan, as we know, with his tactical nous, way more key in terms of possessions. One, dual percentages, carrying. I always say this, people misunderstand Mkhitaryan because he's old and he looks slow, but actually he has in terms of running power or like carrying the ball from edge of our box to like the edge of their box, he's still the most key one in our team now. Maybe Andy Juve can do that better right now, but as in like starter material, he's the only one that does that. Zielinski can also do that. So just to show you, like I'm not saying that Mkhitaryan's had a great season either. I think this is probably easily Mkhitaryan's worst season at Inter. But in terms of those underlying statistical numbers, you have to put them in the context of Inter. Hakan's number are outstanding. Even Frattesi in his first season, I remember I used to post about those numbers from Frattesi's like first season at Inter, and it looked like this guy was like an amazing player. Let's see, does Sucic have enough minutes? Yeah, even like look at Sucic's graph. Very, very strong. Very, very strong. You have to put it in like these underlying stats, like a team that dominates possession that much. And again, I'm not saying Barella's had a stinker season. I always say Barella is because Barella likes no, sorry, not the ceiling. The ceiling is super high with Barella, but his floor is much higher than any average midfielder in Serie A. So even his worst, he's still a very, very serviceable player. That still is what you know. That's why he always starts. I'm not saying he should be benched, but we just know that that's not the level of the Barella that we know. Barella needs help against that big midfielder, Rabiot. Kefren Thuram give him trouble. Maybe Stankovic, Rakis and Miro can help solve that next season. Mickey does not help with that battle either. I mean, it shouldn't really be Mickey, he's the Mezzala on the opposite side. It should be, the support comes from the guys right next to him, like a Hakan or, the wing back next to him. Definitely he hasn't got that from Luis Enrique this season, that type of support off the ball. And Hakan as well has been shaky this year defensively or the last couple of seasons. So yeah, just I know that people want to defend Barella. I understand why. We all love Barella, but he is not. It's definitely has been the worst season at Inter. What else? Oh yeah, and speaking of the Denzel missing and Theo not being there, the matchup on the left-hand side or the right-hand side for us is going to be Estupinian versus Luis Enrique, which is very, very mid matchup. Estupinian is probably, I also tweeted about that. Let me bring that tweet up as well. Estupinian, I actually like them in the Premier League, so I thought it actually would have been a good signing for Milan, but has been one of the biggest flops for Milan, or one of the biggest Serie A signings flops this season. So yeah, this was my tweet that no Theo, no Bartesaghi is might maybe start. He could be like a last minute surprise start if he makes it in terms of fitness. But yeah, we're going to get this underwhelming matchup because both of these guys are going to be a bit of a nothing salad. And I tweeted saying, Luis Enrique is one of the most opinion splitting players in the Inter fan base. I've changed my tune on him. If you guys should know. Thank you, Martino. There, you guys should know that I've changed my tune on Luis Enrique because I thought at the beginning of the season that he looked like an absolute flop. But I said he's opinion splitting, and some people were saying, "Well, he's not opinion splitting. He's just awful." But he's on the ball. I can't say nothing bad about him, like in terms of on possession, passing, what he adds to Inter and build up. Luis Enrique has been great, and defensively as well. Actually, I can't really say too much to Luis Enrique defensively. I don't think I've seen him beaten by anyone and maybe there was that one Boza moment for offside in which game was it? The Arsenal one. But that's about it, really. So I feel like Luis Enrique has also kind of been treated a bit harshly. But in terms of actual matchup, like we talk about Milan derby, rivalry, bit of spice, this is a very, very mid matchup on that side. Going back to the predicted lineups, what would you guys do at the back? Obviously, we don't need to discuss about Di Marco. Hopefully, Di Marco can eat Alexis Salamakers alive tomorrow. He had a good start to the season. First few months, very good. He was in my Serie A team of the season until now, at probably the halfway point. But he's dropped off quite considerably since then. but he is a bit of a rat. He does like to turn up and get all gassed up for these type of games and play up to the crowd as well. So he'll be fired up for it. But hopefully DiMarco can show that big MVP form tomorrow. Yeah, at the back, are you guys happy with Bisek, Akanji, Bastoni? Again, if we're going to play a super high line and try to press Milan, all that stuff, that makes sense to me. The more time goes on, I don't actually like Akanji, Bisek together. Like, I feel like, we saw him in the Napoli game and as well, like in other games. I don't know, they just don't give me very much confidence together because we know that Bisek in general is a lot better going forward than really anything defensively. And Akanji, we've seen some like mistakes recently creep into his game, and as a centre back as well, it seems like that's not. I mean, I still prefer him obviously to anyone else as a centre back, but it doesn't seem to be his best position. So I was thinking even like having De Vrij in the middle and Akanji to the right for this game. But if we're going to play high line, that doesn't really help De Vrij, and I don't want to have De Vrij up against Pulisic and Leao in open space. That's definitely not helping De Vrij. But just like a little point, just not fully convinced that when Bisek and Akanji together, they kind of the recent little drop in form from Akanji is the main reason I'm saying that. If Akanji was in the form that he was the first half of the season, then I wouldn't be too worried. Yeah, they have that error in them. Well, Juve still 0-0, damn, against Pisa. Those guys looks like they're gonna miss out on top 4. But yeah, that is the Inter lineup. Let's have a quick look at Milan's lineup, and then we're gonna finish it on the combined 11. So, not really too much to speak about with Milan. They have, let's see if they have any injuries. So they have Santi Jimenez out, which is not a big miss. Loftus-Cheek is going to be out for a few weeks. Gabbia is a big miss, but Coney de Winter, who we were linked with in the summer, has stepped up in recent weeks. He's looking a lot better. Oh, Juve. Oh, who's saying that? Juve 0-0, then 3-0 up. Okay, maybe not then. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much their starting lineup. Obviously, apart from Bartesaghi on the left, that's the main miss really. Bartesaghi on the left. Apart from that, that's a full strength lineup. Because I would argue, in terms of potential, I think Coney de Winter potentially is a better centre back than Gabbia. So yeah, that's in theory the best lineup outside of Bartesaghi. So strong lineup for Milan. Players to watch, we know, as I said, Rabiot against this version of Barella is probably not ideal. But if he's, let's see, obviously Modric in the middle to watch out for his pulling the strings, etc. But of course, we know who to watch out for. Christian Pulisic is fast becoming one of the Inter killers. Like he scored in the last derby, he scored in a few times last season. Seems like he steps up, but he's had a very difficult last few months. He's been struggling with injury, not really hit form. But you can just imagine he just comes alive tomorrow and revives the season again. Leao, he's kind of hit and miss against Inter. Some days he's really good. Some matches he's like anonymous. But again, he usually seems to be up for these games. He gets so hyped and starts getting into little scuffles and beefs with Inter players. But similar to what we said with Pulisic, he's been kind of struggling with a pubalgia, which is kind of that weird hernia muscular injury that you can still play with, but you can tell Leao this season hasn't had that burst of speed and that dribbling that you usually see, and he's more central as well, which doesn't help him. He obviously wants to be out wide where there's more space. But again, if Inter give him the space to run in behind or hit on the counter, that worries me. But yeah, it's a good team, but nothing special. decent, nothing special. Let me see anything you guys. De Winter has been terrible. I wasn't aware he became good. Yeah, last few weeks he stepped up quite considerably. He had a stinky first few months, definitely, especially that Super Coppa game against Napoli. He got owned by Hoyland, but since then he's slowly come back into it. And he's still quite young for a centre back. I think he's got 23, 24. Yeah. Bisakanji is the best defense at the moment. Acerbi in the right not needed. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not our best defense. I'm just saying recently because of Akanji's slight drop in form, and we know of Bisek's brain farts. Just a little bit worried. So I wouldn't mind De Vrij's calmer and experienced head in there. Definitely not Acerbi. Pulisic always scores against us, and Inter always finds a way to lose to mid AC and Rubis sides 100%. So yeah, let's finish up with a combined 11, guys. Help me out. I mean, I don't think we need to talk about this, guys, right? Jan Sommer is the best. No, of course not. In goal, we start off with Magic Mike Maignan. At the back, do you know what? Where do we put Akanji? Do we put him as a right centre back or as a centre back? That's the question I have, because that changes things, in my opinion. Because they've all of Milan's centre backs have actually had decent seasons. Pavlovic has probably been their best one, I would say. But because of the way they defend, how Max Allegri set them up, they've actually all of them had a good seasons. They've been only recently, so I'm not going to count him in. But Gabbia's had a good season. Tomori's had a consistently good season. Pavlovic has been probably the standout one, but you can't put Pavlovic ahead of Bastoni, even though Bastoni's not had the greatest season. But I think again, people start going over the top with Bastoni. He's not had maybe his best season. I think last season was probably Bastoni's best season at Inter, but this season is a step back from last year. But I think I will still put him in a combined 11 ahead of Pavlovic, in my opinion. This is what I'm thinking. Let me give you my one. I'm gonna do it like this. So I'm thinking Bastoni. Then maybe I'll give it to Gabbia in the middle, and then Akanji there. That's my thinking. What do you guys think? Boo, Bastoni, we can't use him. That's my thinking. I know Bisek had a decent season, positive season, good season, you could say as well. But he's also had, a few of those brain fart moments that we know of. But Gabriel's not playing. Okay, that's true. We should do it. We should do it with the players that are available for tomorrow, right? Fair enough. Then I'll do this. Then I feel like one of them, because they technically have a better defense than us. I think they conceded one less goal than our defense. So I might do it like this then. Because let me just double check that. I'm sure they've conceded less than us. So we conceded 20. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one less goal than us. So I feel like, I know the style of play, they only play once a week and all that, but, at the end of the day, objectively, defensively, they've had a good season. So do you guys agree with this? Bastoni, Akanji, Tomori. As I said, it should be Pavlovic sneaking in there. But obviously, I can't put Pavlovic on the right or center because he's only played left center back. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, I'll move on. Let's see. Based on form. Yeah, that's what I said. But that's just been recently. That's just literally like last few months. I would say I'm looking more like this whole season. I would say like they probably had about the same season, Tomori Bisek, same level. But I don't want to have like I do try to be like balanced in these combined 11s. I don't feel like Inter's defense. I don't think it should be a clear trio of Inter's defense because we know we haven't had great season defensively. Let's be real. It's been more of a season, especially with this Chivu style of play. Like we've been pressing teams high and just dominating and controlling teams in their half. Now let's have the big. I think the conversation to have is it Hakan or Modric? I know Hakan's not starting tomorrow, but he's in the squad. He can start tomorrow, so I'm having that conversation. I personally would put Modric just for consistency. Hakan, definitely. I mean, Hakan, you can't argue with his GA this season. I mean, still, the fact that Hakan's been out that long, and again, this is it looks bad on Serie A, the Inter team, on Marcus Thuram, on all the other strikers, that Hakan is still Inter's second top scorer at the moment in Serie A and third in GA in Serie A as well. But again, for consistency, Hakan's been out now for like over a month. He has had some shaky moments defensively. Now at this stage of the season, if you ask me like in December, January, I would have definitely put Hakan ahead. I think in my halfway team of the season, I put Hakan. But yeah, now just for consistency and for the respect I have for him, I can't lie. Modric, I am jealous that Milan have him. I'm going to put him there. Elsewhere, I'm going to put definitely Zielinski has to be in this. I don't think they can argue Piotr Zielinski in there. And then Rabiot. What do you guys think about that midfield? I mean, who else would be from Inter? I mean, you could the Sucic. No, I don't think Sucic gets in there. Barella definitely doesn't get in there this season. It would only be Leah Hakan or Zielinski, really. Those are the only two standout midfielders that we've had this season. So I think that's fair. Obviously, we don't need to talk about left wing back. I do like Bartezaghi, good player, but you put anyone against Di Marco this season and it's done. Denzel and Dima and it's good. Yeah, well, I don't think we can say that this season with Denzel, man. He's been missing since what, three or 4 months now. And he wasn't having a good season at the start of the season either. I mean, if we're talking about general, like I'm talking about, this season. If we're talking about general, yeah, I would have Denzel over Salamakers, but this season, again, he's not had a great season. Salamakers, he started off all and kind of drifted now, but I think I would go with Alexis there. And then up front, obviously, you have to go with the top scorer of the league, who I don't think has had a great season either, but he's been definitely having a good season, a key season in important matches, not big matches, but important matches where he scored game state defining goals. So he always scores the goal that gives into the lead or gives into the win. Lautaro Martinez, of course. And then it's between Leao, Pulisic, Thuram, Esposito, Boni. I think that one's really up for grabs. To be honest. Oh yeah, but actually, as I was saying, I can't put players that don't play. So, okay, I have to take Lautaro out. Actually, who would you have instead of Lautaro then, man? We can't have a Pulisic and Pio together. Yeah, maybe. But if you talk about GA, it's probably Boni, right? Especially with that start that he had. It was Andrew and Boni's got 8, Pio has 7. But yeah, you probably have Pio over Boni in general for the impact that he's had this season. Pio and Leao. Pulisic was doing good at the start of the season. What's he on now? He started off the season on fire, even though he was still injured a lot. He still has 10 GA and 1,040 minutes, so basically a GA every 100 minutes. So still very good return rate. But he hasn't scored since when? He hasn't scored since January. He hasn't scored since the last game against Inter. That's literally his last goal in the league. Obviously, in the league, what other competition did they play? Coppa Italia. Literally, his last goal is against Inter. Nah, we can't be having Pulisic in this. Yeah, even we have to count 2026 in, unfortunately, bro. So it has to be either. It has to be either. What about like Leao has been picked up a little bit more recently, but Leao was like the opposite, kind of quiet at the start of the season. 9-2, that's not bad. So yeah, Leao's picked things up recently. He's been like intermittent. So he started off quiet and then had a big, nice bit in between. Then a lot of injury and struggling with his Belgia. Oh, this is so mid, man. This is so mid. Yeah. That fake news is still going around. You should have just embraced it. You should have just embraced that fake news on the Sydney Sweeney. Yeah. Yeah, he will score tomorrow. Now that I've seen that stat that the last time Christian Pulisic scored was against us, he's definitely scoring tomorrow. Oh, this is so mid, man. Wow. This is so embarrassing that we can't even pick two strikers up front in the Derby di Milano. All right, I think we have to put Leao for sure, by the looks of it, at least. We put Rafa, and then we put we'll go for Pio then. That's it. I think that's a good combined 11. Let's have a look. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Milan players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Inter players. Oof. I feel like it doesn't reflect the league table though, does it? It feels like I've been too nice to Milan players here. Because that doesn't. I mean, of course, the thing with Milan is they went from 8th in the table last season to 2nd. So there's been a massive improvement, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit for that. So maybe I do take away Tomori now, and I'd be second because I feel like you can't have the team in the league that's 10 plus points clear, and then the other team has more players in the combined 11. Oh my god, yeah. Combined 11 from around 2015. That now talking of mid, that was below mid. That was just like good thing that social media we weren't doing combined 11s back then. I don't think. What's up, Shakir? I was talking about Zielinski having. The thing is Hakan is not fully fit. I said after the Como game he shouldn't start the Milan derby, and I'm happy that he's not, because I'd rather play Zielinski there than an unfit Hakan at the moment, because he looked off the pace against Como and when he came on against Genoa. So it's not ideal, because Zielinski's done there fine in general as CDM, but in big games he's definitely not particularly that great. So it's gonna just have to be Zielinski, and then Hakan comes on the second half. And I usually would want to play Barella there, but the way that Barella has been playing as well, I'm not trusting there at the moment. Of course, would love it if we win with a controversial goal, but I would have. Then I just have to bring out my Marotta League shirt, of course, for the post-match for sure. If it was Bastoni as well, Bastoni with a controversial decision, that would be mad. Lab Gorilla, another Milan fan in the house. What's up, bro? He says replace Bastoni for Pavlovic. I did have that. I had that conversation before. I think you joined. That I think if there was one Milan player, one Milan defender to make this, the combined 11, that would actually be Pavlovic, more than any of the other defenders. But I feel like it's been overstated how, about Bastoni's season. It's not been that bad at all. It's actually been a pretty good season. It's just that we have similar to Barella. We have high expectation with some of these guys, so we have a high ceiling. So, Pavlovic. I think the thing with Pavlovic is he's improved a lot, similar to what I just said about the Milan team. And they went from being embarrassingly bad last season to being, very good, respectably good this year. So the jump and the improvement in performance, I think, gets them more credit now. Whereas I think just consistency and maintaining a good level is still good enough for me. Um, but if Gabbia, as I was saying, if Gabbia was fit, I would have put him in the middle and put Akanji on the right. That I think would be the most fair one. But we're just players that are fit for tomorrow. So yeah, I think that's fair. We can't have a majority Milan players in there. Oh, Menez, I love that guy. I hated that he played for Milan. He was one of my favorite ballers in that 2010s era. Oh, Bastoni header in the 92nd minute, man. Script writers, please. How about a fake penalty on Bastoni and a Hakan penalty in the last minute? Oh my god! Now you're like really, you're gonna give like heart attacks to Milanisti. You're gonna get fireworks and all sorts of things thrown onto the pitch with that type of scenario, man. Oh my goodness! And like a dive from Bastoni, that would just be cherry on the cake. A dive from a Bastoni tackle from Salamakers, another diver. So like two divers combining, but Bastoni's dive wins the penalty, and then Hakan hits the penalty, but Manyan saves it, but it goes back to Hakan and he scores it. Like that is literally the ultimate head loss moment potential for Milan. So Bastoni winning the penalty diving in the dying minutes, Hakan takes it, saves back into Hakan, and he scores it. Or Bastoni comes and scores it like the rebound. Oh my god. Yeah, that is yeah. Let's finish up with the match prediction now then, guys. Yeah, I'm seeing a draw, to be honest. I see even though Milan should come out, they should try to win the game, because if they want to reopen the title race, it's on them. But I think Allegri will be happy to play as usual, happy with status quo, keep Milan's position in the second position. And I don't think Inter are going to go like all out either as well. I feel like they're going to try to manage the game and they don't need to go all out for the win either. So I'm seeing a 1-1 draw. That's my prediction. Let me see what you guys think. And it would be a Pio goal. I think maybe they even score. They might even score before us, and then we clinch it back at the end. But a Pio goal would be massive as well. Like Pio, as I said, the storyline of having Pio, Boni, the young duo up front as well, that would be massive. Massive confidence boost for them going forward. Mattia says 0-0 or 1-1. Eduardo says 3-1 Inter or 2-2. So even at Positivity FC have a little bit of doubt whether this Inter team tomorrow can beat them. Ahmed says 1-2 to Inter, hopefully. We should go all out. It'll be a virtual Scudetto win. Yeah, but I don't think we should, because I think we should. Isn't like I want to show Milan who is the true winners. Just shut everyone up, no controversy, just pure footballing supremacy and kill the league. But that plays into them as well, us going all out, Shakir, because that is how Allegri wants us to play, how they would want to hit us on the counter. So, and I don't think we will go too all out. Milan fan Alexo V10 says 2-1 Inter, so he's not feeling too confident, or he's just anti-jinxing. Pio scoring as Rube and Milan, yeah, that would be fantastic. Imagine that as well as your first proper season at Inter, having those two big goals against Milan and Juve. 1-2 Pio and Hakan pen. Hey, that would be fantastic. AC can kill us on the counters. We can't go in. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, as I said, to me, it's a 1-1 draw. But if we win, then even Negativity FC tomorrow have to say the title race is over. And if we lose, I'm not going to go panic station. I know Mattia says we're going to start to panic if we lose, but it's definitely then title race is opened back up. It makes things a little bit more interesting, definitely for neutrals. I think all the neutrals will be wanting Milan to win to make the Serie A title race interesting again. But yeah, in terms of the true reflection of the season, Inter are the best team. But yeah, let me show like the data MB comparison as well on the teams. Like Inter are just by far and away the best team on the eye, on the stats. Internazionale. AC. Coming up. There it is. Look at that. Inter dominating every single aspect, apart from counters, of course, possession, attacking. So obviously in terms of number of attacks and chances, creation, goals, pressing, physical, everything. We're just a complete team in Serie A this season. Unfortunately, we weren't able to show it in Europe, but hopefully we can show it once again tomorrow night against Milan in the Derby della Madonnina. I am looking forward to it, guys. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the post-match reaction. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in today. And Mattia for moderating the chat. Really, really appreciate you, man. And yes, of course, I hope we let them have the ball and give them all the possession and we can Allegri a 1-0 win. That would be perfect, of course, with the Bastoni or Hakan goal. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you all. Thank you all for the support. Thank you, Eduardo, for being a member. Abdi Razak for becoming a member and also gifting 10 channel membership, which is massive. Ciao a tutti. Bocca al lupo anche Lab Gorilla. Good luck. As Milanisti, thank you for being respectful in the chat. Ciao ragazzi, always. Forza Inter. Let's end the Scudetto race and then we can really start singing La Capolista se ne va.